In today's video, I want to talk about two specific classes that have kind of become more official as of recently, this being the Illrigger and the Gunslinger classes. In my opinion, they should not be classes, they should be subclasses. And I'm going to get into why today, and I hope to make a logical argument as to why they shouldn't be classes. Okay, starting off with what is the Illrigger class, and then we'll get into the Gunslinger class later. The Illrigger class is a third-party class created by MCDM Productions. It functions as a martial spellcaster bound by an oath of service to an infernal or demonic deity, often an archdevil like Moloch or Asmodeus. Mechanically, it's similar to Paladin, but with a dark evil twist. It combines frontline combat with unique spellcasting focus on manipulation, seals, and infernal summons. Subclasses emphasize themes like mental domination, blood magic, and hellish pacts, positioning the class as sort of an anti-paladin or hell knight class. It's designed for characters who serve evil powers with abilities that encourage strategic control and debuffing in combat, but it's explicitly flavored as malevolent, contracts with devils, soul binding, and abilities that thrive on deception or corruption. Moving on to what is a Gunslinger. The Gunslinger is another third-party class popularized by Matthew Mercer's homebrew. However, that was originally a subclass, and it was later redefined as a dexterity-focused martial class centered on firearms in a fantasy setting. Players gain proficiency in guns, with mechanics revolving around trick shots, critical hit synergies, and grid points for special maneuvers. It's often presented as a full class, but originated as a fighter subclass, as I previously said. The core fantasy is a bold, quick-draw renegade, relying on its wit, timing, and luck, but it's tied heavily to guns. Features like misfires add risk, and it emphasizes ranged combat over melee, of course, as it is a gunslinger subclass. The role of archetypes in D&D's core classes. In my opinion, this next section is the most important for the whole video. D&D's core classes are built around broad, timeless archetypes, foundational character concepts drawn from classic fantasy literature, mythology, and folklore. These archetypes are flexible, allowing for endless customization through subclasses, multiclassing, and role-playing, of course, while maintaining balance and thematic coherence in a medieval-inspired fantasy world. Examples may include, for example, Fighter, the archetypical warrior, versatile in combat, representing heroes like Achilles or Knight from an Arthurian legend. Paladin, the holy knight bound by oaths, embodying chivalric ideals or divine justice. Rogue, the cunning trickster or thief like Robin Hood or Bilbo Baggins. Wizard, the learned spellcaster drawing from Merlin or Gandalf. Even newer official subclasses or classes like Artificer fit as inventor, tinkerer archetype, integrating magic and technology. These archetypes are archetypical because they are universal and timeless. That is my first point. They are broad in scope. That is my second point. And thirdly, they are balanced and integrative. Unlike core classes, Illrigger and Gunslinger are niche, setting specific inventions that lack the breadth and universality of true archetypes. Illrigger's narrow focus, it's essentially a devil sworn knight, hyper-specialized in infernal themes. While paladins can oath to any cause, for example demons, Illrigger mandates service to evil entities, with mechanics like seals and hellish summons that scream villain. This isn't an archetype, it's a flavor-locked variant. It should just be a subclass of paladin in my opinion, or there already is a subclass of warlock that's very much so just like this. It's redundant and restricted to say the least. Discussions highlight its evil flair as limiting, often confining it to evil campaigns or one-shots. Class should not be confined to that in my opinion. Gunslinger's niche dependency. This class revolves around firearms, which aren't native to D&D's core rules. However, it's not a broader ranged warrior archetype that ranger or fighter is. It's a gun-toting cowboy in a sword and sorcery world. Mechanics like misfires introduce punishing unreliability sometimes, and features only shine with guns, making it inflexible. It originated as a fighter club subclass, underscoring that it's not archetypical enough for a standalone status, and it should be reversed as such, in my opinion. Again, this is all just my opinion, and of course you could take what I say today and just throw it out completely out the window. But what I'm saying is I think we're reaching a point in D&D, and specifically with classes, I like to call overbloat or overbloating of classes in general. I think there should be more subclasses. I don't think there should be as many archetypical classes. They're about to come out with another siren class, which again, I think is not needed. Illrigger should be a paladin or warlock subclass. Monster Hunter, another class I did not touch on in its entirety today, but we can go on in another video about it, is a monster hunter. That's literally a subclass of ranger. I believe there's a hunter ranger, and you can take the monster hunter route with it. So it really doesn't make that much sense. And then Gunslinger used to be a subclass of fighter and should go back as such, in my opinion, or alternatively as a ranger. I also see it that way. We are not going to touch on the Lord of the Rings role-playing classes, as they kind of seem to fit within the Lord of the Ring world, and that's completely fine. And again, if you want these classes in your game, that's completely up to you as a DM, and if you want them, sure, why not go ahead with it? I'm just giving y'all my thoughts on why they should not be classes and why they should be subclasses. However, critical roles, Blood Hunter should be a class, because again, it's an archetype, not a defined, streamlined version of a subclass trying to be a class. That is just, again, all my opinion. But again, if y'all disagree with me in the comments below, I'm more than welcome you commenting, disagreeing with me, or hitting the dislike button. But without that, y'all, I hope y'all have a great day. I just wanted to make a quick little rant on this whole, in my opinion, the overbloating situation of D&D classes in general. Anyway, y'all, have a great day, and as always, junk it out.